Good morning, my friends. It is time to rise and shine once again. My name is Haylee Jacob, and welcome to my podcast, Rise and Shine. Okay, guys, today's episode is a little bit longer than normal because it is a very special episode. I'm so excited about this. Today's episode is our very first guest episode on the Rise and Shine podcast. Yay! So much fun. Our guest for today is Kristen Campbell. Kristen is a singer on the Life Church worship team in Stillwater, Oklahoma, and she is a faith-based fitness instructor. Kristen is also my older cousin. And so I loved getting to talk with her and sit down and just reunite and talk about God and how he can heal us through habits and how we can draw closer to him by creating some healthy habits. So, grab your coffee, find your comfiest chair, and let's rise and shine. Okay, so tell me a little bit about you.
Well, I've known you my whole life.
Yes.
So I am, let's see. I have a whole bunch of kids.
Mm-hmm.
I've got 3 kiddos. I've been married for, almost 18 years. So that's just a little bit about me personally.
Mm-hmm.
We are really involved with our church. I get to be a part of serving on our worship team, and I've done a lot of work with the worship team just for the last, maybe 10 years, but we grew up.
Yeah.
We didn't really have an option to not be on the worship team.
Right, yeah. It's just like, you're doing this.
Like, here you go, here's a mic.
Yeah.
And so worship is definitely it's kind of my love language with God. In the worship through music there's different ways you can worship. So, really involved with our church. I also am a fitness instructor. And I do a lot of, I've just run my own businesses, and I do a lot of incorporating fitness and faith. And so sometimes we just do fitness, and then sometimes it's very focused on why we move our bodies and why creating habits around our health and things like that. I get to lead classes in person. I have a studio in our little small hometown, and we also have some online classes that we get to do. And my favorite thing is leading teams of teachers to lead people. Like, I love helping people level up not only in their fitness and their habits and their mental well-being and their spiritual well-being, but helping other leaders learn how to lead. Because it's something you have to learn how to do, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm really passionate about. And I've always been really, really passionate about habit health. And, it wasn't until just recently that I would say within the last 5 years, that I really started studying habits. And not even just from a neuroscience space,
Mm-hmm.
I want to know how my brain works, but also even just with our faith, how habits can be holy. And
Yeah.
if you look in the Bible, the Bible actually speaks. It doesn't say you need to have healthy habits, but
Right.
it does speak so much to renewing our mind.
Mm-hmm.
And if you follow the life of Jesus, he had a habit of retreating often.
Mm-hmm.
He often went and took solitude. And so, there's just so much. And I truly believe that our habits are just a collection of the thoughts that we keep and the people we keep around us. And then I think it eventually manifests into the actions we take. And so I think that's why I am so passionate about helping people heal in their habits.
Yeah, yeah. So I have gotten the benefit of literally seeing you grow up. We're cousins. So I've gotten to watch you kind of grow into this space, and watch you grow into the fitness space and leading people to fitness and habits and creating that and using that to glorify God. Mm-hmm. And so tell me how you got into the fitness space, and then leading into how that kind of led into habits. Because I think fitness itself is something you have to build a habit for.
Oh yeah. I think so many times when people think of habits, they think of smoking or exercise even, and I think habits start way before the action.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where like the mind work comes from. I actually wrote down what a habit is, because I feel like we need to be reminded. It's a settled or regular tendency or practice, especially one that's hard to give up. And the beautiful thing about habits is they can work for us. So studies show that we're on autopilot. Like God created us to automate ourselves, essentially. Like, can you think about how much energy you would be giving if you were still learning how to walk? If you're like step, breath. Like your body is like He made us to be automated, which is amazing. Like I love that about God that He did that for us. Like I don't have to think about walking all the time.
Right.
But it, so many times our habits often pull life from us. And in my own life, I have had the benefit of both, like seeing how habits have destroyed and taken life, and I've seen how habits have healed and have been so beautiful. So, for example, part of my story is, both of my parents passed away, and this because we're family, but in the last couple of years, both of them passed away. And when people ask, like, what happened, like, the only thing I can honestly think of is, like, they just had bad habits.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's really, like, I can give you the medical term for what they put on their death certificate, but, I grew up, like, seeing them wrestle with their habits and struggle. And so many times habits are overwhelming, and they eventually just wrap around us, and they drive the car instead of us. And I saw that
because we're automated.
Because we're automated, yes. Because what was one action, I mean, the more you do it, it creates these little pathways in your brain that you eventually don't have to think about anymore. So that again can work for you and it can work against you. But I also had the privilege of growing up with our grandma, who was always very healthy. I always saw her moving and exercising and praying and eating well, fasting, and just very intentional. Even still, like when I go to her house, I'm like, what supplements are these? Like I'm just like I feel like I'm in like a like a Aikens or something, or whatever those food stores are. But it's like, she was always very intentional with her habits, especially when it came to her health, but even beyond that, like who she spent time with and who she allowed to speak into her. I mean, those are all habits that we have. And I think that habits, people get so hung up on them because they're hard to break. And I think instead of going, what do I need to stop doing? I think we need to look at what do we need to replace and what do we need to start doing? So because so many times we look at it and it's almost like this, scarcity of like, I don't want to lose this thing. But it's like, no, we have to replace it. Like if you look at what forms a habit, and again, I can get really nerdy with this because I've done so much study on it, but what forms a habit is, it's called the habit loop. You've got your trigger or your cue, you've got your behavior, and that's the actual habit, and then you've got the reward. And so you just got to change that middle one. Yeah, and that's what I love teaching people, is like breaking it down and like teaching it to them like they're 5. Because I'm like, I learned it and I'm like, oh, this makes so much sense. Right. So to go back to your original question, I think what made me so passionate about it is because, one, I grew up seeing the benefit of it, and then I also, as an adult saw the long-term destruction of it. And if that can stop with me, like in any way, whether it's my own family or if it's anybody else, I want to allow that to be like my mission and my ministry, if you will.
Yeah. Awesome. So how can we create these healthy habits? And I agree that, we have to replace the bad habits with good habits, because we've created, and I could, do a whole podcast on the neuroscience behind this.
I love it.
I've studied on it too. It's so interesting. And the verse, to renew your mind, and how scientific that verse actually can be.
Oh, it's so scientific.
It's so cool. Anyway, but and when I have a different aunt who used to smoke, and when she quit smoking, she had to replace it at first she replaced it with Jolly Ranchers, which again, you don't want to always be sucking a Jolly Rancher, but a Jolly Rancher is less destructive.
It still gave her the
cigarette.
reward, like the sugar hit.
Yes.
So it's,
And then eventually she replaced it with running, and then she was biking, and then she was doing like Ironmans. And so how do we first, figure out what that bad habit is and what our trigger is, and then how do we replace that habit?
Yeah, so I mean, I think so. I have a couple of thoughts that I want to share, just practical steps for healing your habits.
Yeah.
And one of the first things, anytime I'm working with someone on habit health, or really even just in any sense, is I always have them take inventory. Like, just get really honest. And I like to say, where are you at? Like, if you were to rate yourself in your mental well-being and your mental habits. So this is going to be the way you talk to yourself. This is going to be what's coming through your ears and eyes, like what you're feeding your mind with. This is going to be what the environment around you is like. Like, what is your mental, what are your habits like for your mental well-being? And so I'll have them rate like 1 to 10, whatever that might be. And then, so we always go mind, body, heart. So when we look at health, what's your sleep habits like? Let's talk about that one.
Yeah.
How much water are you drinking a day? And just kind of subcategory it. How many steps a day are you getting? Or how many times are you exercising rigorously throughout the week? Or how many minutes? And like really breaking it down and simplifying it. So I think when it comes to habits, I think that so many people get overwhelmed because they look and they say, I need to lose 30 pounds, or I need to heal from this trauma. Like, I need to feel peace in my mind. I just feel chaotic. And it feels so overwhelming, but I think if you can just get honest, and then 2, get clear about what it is, where it's at, and just start with the lowest number. So if you scored yourself a 5 out of 10 on mental well-being, but you're a 2 in your health, start with health.
Yeah.
And then even subcategorying it, like, again, I do nutrition, water, movement, and what was the other one I said? Sleep hygiene. And so I kind of just go through those, and then you could even rate those if you wanted to and start there. And so adding just that one habit a day. So it does take, you have to self-parent. Like, I'll just say that. Let me come out of the gate and say, I'll say it kindly, but like, you do have to self-govern. You have to, so I'll show you an example. So for me, especially in this last season, my numbing came a lot from social media and a lot of my phone, and I had to get honest with what it was. But just knowing doesn't help. So then I had to get clear. I had to look at my screen time and say, okay, this is unacceptable. Especially since screen time will now break it down and show you how much. I'm not doing, like we always say, like, well, I have to do business on social media. I mean, literally, I have a YouTube channel. Like, I get it. I understand.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing 4 hours of business on Facebook. Okay. Yeah. Like, I'm not. And so one of the ways that, I did that is I set a password in my phone to go off after X amount of minutes. I think it's an hour a day or whatever it is. Because let's be for real, like, nobody needs to be on social media for over an hour.
Right.
Like, I don't think so. Anyways. Yeah. But I recognize that it was the habit that was destroying my mental well-being.
Yeah.
In this season of healing. Like, I'm very much in a raw season of healing still. And the third thing that I would recommend is getting accountable. So let me tell you what I did. I took my phone to my 14-year-old and I said, put a password in.
Ooh.
So now when I need more screen time, I have to go to my 14-year-old and say, can you put the password in? And I promise you I've only had to do it like twice, because I'm like, you know what? I don't need to do that. And so for like putting the safeguards around it, like doing it. So recognize it with honesty. Come up with a game plan. Like, don't just be like, yeah, I spent too much time on screens.
Yeah.
And then also putting in some layers of accountability. So that's just a silly one, but I mean, it's very real. And right now, like, even right this minute, I'm like, I don't have access to certain apps.
Right.
And something I want to hit on really quickly is how our habits are attached to our identity. And I think this is really important, because it's like, yeah, I want to lose 30 pounds, or I want to spend less time on social media, or I want to have better connection with my husband, or I want to, you have all these things that you want to do better, but I think you have to even go further back, like beyond that.
Yeah.
So let me find this real quick.
Yeah.
I had it pulled up earlier.
No, while you're looking for that, I love that your accountability partner for social media is your 14-year-old, because how humbling is that,
so
though?
Humbling.
When you're going to your 14-year-old as a mom and be like, hey, I know I said do this, but can you put this in for me? You know?
Well, and I think, too, that it also creates a sense of, like, she's seeing this is how we manage these things.
Yeah.
Because truthfully, like, my generation, and maybe yours, too, we weren't taught how to manage social media because we didn't have it until we were adults.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't
so,
have
like, nobody taught me as a
Facebook
kid.
wasn't a thing until I was in high school, and you were probably out of high school by that point.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I think that's a fantastic way to teach your children responsibility by showing, like, hey, I'm an adult and I have to be responsible for this too, and I have to create good habits too. And they can see that, like, oh, creating habits isn't just my mom, controlling my social media. It's creating something healthy for me later on.
And we are big in my family about self-governing and okay, so like a habit, let's say one of the kids is having just, I don't know, like an emotional flare-up, for lack of better words. I have one in particular. He gets really overstimulated, and he doesn't always know how to express. And so when he gets that way, so I say, hey, you're in the red zone right now. So when you get this way, when you feel this, so there's your trigger. I feel this, I do this, and then this is the reward. And sadly, the reward's not always a reward. But I want him to get in the habit of when I feel this, because here's what happens is sometimes when we feel this, we eat. We feel this, we social media binge. We feel this, we do way more destructive things than I'm even talking about. But we drink, whatever it might be. And so it's like, that the feeling is I'm overstimulated. The thing is that the behavior, the middle part that we have to work on, is fill in the blank. And then the reward is like the sugar high or the satiation or the comfort. I put in air quotes because I'm like, it's a very temporary comfort. So when he gets to that place, I say, okay, you feel this. Let's go push the tree. Or let's put our mustache on. If you put pressure on your lip, there's certain tapping things you can do on your face. Let's take 10 deep breaths. Let's go touch stop signs, because we live on a street in between stop signs and I'll home. Like, just take a walk, go touch it, and then go touch the other one and come back and we'll talk about it. Yeah. And so it's giving him the tools to say, when I feel this, I need to do this. And so hopefully, because I don't think he'll ever live in a world, especially our world, where he doesn't get overstimulated. Right. Because we're in a very loud world. You haven't figured out what I'm talking about yet.
No, I know which one it is.
Finding ways, music is a good one for him too, or headphones. I've even gotten him headphones to put on. And so finding ways to cope in the loud world, or in a, whatever that's just my example. But so we're really big on, hey, you're in control of you, and that's empowering. Yeah. For me, there's a part of me that's like, if my habits control me, I feel like someone has taken something from me. Yeah. Because I've lost so much around, poor habits. And so I think that there's also that, and I am going to just full disclosure, I am in a lot of counseling. Sure. I'm doing the work too, and so she's helping me wrap language around some of these things that
Absolutely.
Come up. But, so I think that just giving, yourself the tools, or your kids or whoever the tools so I know at 5:00 every day, I want to pour a glass of wine. Okay, so what are we going to do instead of it? Because your triggers are going to be your time, place, person, emotion. Yeah. Those are your cues and triggers. So like your aunt that started running, when I want a cigarette, or I always have a cigarette after dinner. So after dinner, instead, I'm going to put a Jolly Rancher and I'm going to go for a walk. Yeah. So she didn't stop wanting the cigarette. And she probably to this day, I'm sure she still has, every once in a while it pops up. So it's like, what am I going to do? And then the sad thing sometimes about reforming your habits and healing your habits is you don't have that immediate dopamine hit, or that immediate like whatever in your blood system from nicotine or alcohol or pornography or whatever, And so I think that we have to also just parent ourselves to remember, like, hey, you're not going to get the hit that you got, but long-term investment, it's going to pay off because it's going to compound. Right. One way or another.
Yeah. And it also rewires those pathways created in our brain to something healthier, to where eventually, that trigger is less and less effective. And you're creating new pathways to want to desire those more healthy things. I know when I'm constantly working out and when I'm constantly eating healthy, I crave sugar less. And I want healthier things. Fried stuff doesn't sound good to me. But when I've fallen back into it, if I've had several fried meals or lots of sugar, I'm craving
your body,
that.
yep, it's like, oh, we like this, we want this, but really you don't, because like then you have a stomach ache, and then but we've, as a society, we've just gotten so comfortable with being sick or being in discomfort. Like it's almost like I know how to exist here, and even though it's dysfunction and my body's in turmoil right now because I ate fried shrimp yesterday or whatever, and don't get me wrong, we're Cajuns. Like, we like the fried shrimp is great. I'm not saying, but you know, or French fries or McDonald's or whatever. Like, it's like my body does not like that, but we've gotten so comfortable there that we're like, we'll take the pain.
We're so. We've wired our brains to want the instant gratification so much that we only care about the instant gratification, and we don't care about the after effects of that hit, of that like instant feel good feeling. And so we've got to rewire to appreciate, to want that long-term goal.
And I think, I mean, this is, again, could be a whole nother podcast. I think that we are all addicted to dopamine. Like, all of your dings and pings on your phone is just like the lottery system at the casinos, because it's literally designed to give you that hit of dopamine. Like somebody wants me, somebody wants this, someone likes me, or whatever that is. But it's like we're so addicted, and of course sugar is in everything. And it's like we're so wired for that I mean, probably more than any generation that's ever existed. And so that's why I think that it's really important to come in and start talking about healing your habits and what that looks like on just a practical level. Like, we don't even have to like over spiritualize it. Like, we can even just say like, hey, as a follower of Jesus, I can't even do what I'm called to do if I'm sick. Like, I can't even dream if my mind is so clouded with stress and anxiety and chaos and all of those things. I wanted to share this. I think going back to kind of like, not to sound like cliche, but like know your why. But like, if you don't know why you're doing something, you're less likely to continue to do it. Or, you know, follow through with what that is. And I think that something I say often is, when you know who you are, you know what to do. And I think this is where our faith can come in, because who I believe myself to be is missing it all the time, and I, you know, a mom who yells, and, you know, all of those things. But I have to know truth. I have to know that who God says I am is truth, and I have to align my heart and my mind with that. And if God says that I'm called to heal the sick, and I'm called to do all of these things, how can I do that if I can't even find healing in myself? Like, if I'm not healthy enough to go out and serve in that way. And my pastor says an unhealthy identity creates unwise habits. Unwise habits reinforce an unhealthy identity. Like, that's really, like, that hit. I wrote it down when he said that. So he gave some examples. So like, you are strong. Well, therefore you nourish and fuel your body because you're strong. You're confident. Therefore you look fear in the face and you do it anyways. Right? So it's your habits are saying, they're lining up with this truth. And that's why I think we have to look at our heart habits. Am I spending time with God? Am I actively involved with the church community? Am I serving? Am I, you know, like, how are my habits with my church? You know, like, or with my faith, with my heart.
That's a great point, because, you know, I'm thinking, just me, myself, I had gone through a phase where I'm like, God, I want you to use me, and I want to be used for the good in the church, you know, on whatever level he decides is good for me and good for the kingdom. But I was so busy just with work that I didn't give the time to allow him to use me, honestly. And I think we have to decide what we want to look like and what we want to be known as, and then decide, okay, what do I have to do? What habits do I have to create to look like that? And we have to, if we want to be used by God, we have to give him time.
Space. Like, don't get me started on calendar habits. Like, I talk to this with my clients, and even with the kids, like with Aniston getting into all of these sports, like, we have these conversations regularly. I'm like, you cannot complain that you're missing out on all these things when you're the one putting it on your calendar. Like, here's like the most powerful thing that somebody told me is no period is a full sentence.
Yes.
And you're going to disappoint people, but it's worth it. And because if you're saying yes to one thing, you're saying no to something else. You have to make sure those checks and balances are in place. And so it's like, you're one person and there's thousands of people in your life. You can't show up fully. So you have to guard your time and what just like your house, like what you bring into if you brought in like a trash can inside your house, like from outside on the road, like eventually you would start to notice that like it would smell, your house would smell, and it's like, but you brought it in.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't belong here. And, of course, recognizing seasons and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, to be that type of person and to create the habits we want, we have to be intentional on making time for those habits and be intentional on giving yourself time to develop the habits, because going back to the instant gratification, when you are creating a habit, it's going to take time to set in, and it's going to take time to break those habits.
Well, and going back to like the babies taking their first steps, they took their first step and they fell.
Right.
They took their second step and they fell. They took their 4,000th step and they fell. And then they had to learn how to get both feet off the ground.
Yeah.
And then, so it's like, instant gratification, I think we could stay here all day too, because we want it to be like, I went to the gym 3 times last week and I still haven't lost that 30 pounds.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
No, you have to because for me, like, let's say within that, like if someone has a weight loss goal, I say, okay, we can have that kind of on the sidebar, but I want you to tell me what your movement goal is this week.
Yeah.
I want you to tell me what your water goal is this week. I want you to tell me what your sleep goal is this week. Behavior modifications, not goal orientated. Like, does that make sense?
Yes.
So you can have the goal, but that can't be the only thing, because you have to have the strategy to go around it. And there's all kind of tricks. I know you've mentioned Atomic Habits before. If you haven't put that on your resources, make sure people can get that, because he talks about something called habit stacking, which I really love the idea
Yes,
of.
it's
Like,
so helpful. So tell us what habit stacking is.
So essentially, it's just tacking on a healthy habit with an existing habit. So an easy example would be like doing squats while you're brushing your teeth. Well, you're already going to brush your teeth. You're already going to, okay, so for me, like I always tell people, while your coffee's brewing every morning, like you don't have to think like, oh man, I got to put it on my calendar and go make coffee. Like, no, you just do it because it's a habit.
Yeah.
So if you make coffee every morning, there's that, 5 to 10 minutes that your coffee's brewing. Stretch. Go stretch your body, or, while you're driving to work, like that's a habit. You're going to work every day, hopefully. And that can be your time where you just ask the Lord to speak to you and you listen to worship instead of Crime Junkie podcast. Okay, I mean, like, I love me some
Which
Crime
are,
Junkie.
yes.
There's a place for it.
Yes.
But, it's just stacking the new habits you're trying to create with an existing already made automated behavior.
So what are some habits that we can all create to live like healthier, healthier and healing lives, if that makes sense? I worded that funny.
Yeah. So I think that, again, just taking inventory, like just getting clear with where you're at. So if you don't even know where the target is, it's like, then you're just going to be shooting missiles in the dark. It's like, I'm just going to start throwing and hoping I hit something. Like, just getting clear. But I think having a daily step goal, like if you want to be healthy physically, have a daily step goal, invite people into it. We're so isolated, and especially like post-pandemic, like we're so isolated anymore that it's almost like we're ashamed to ask people to say, because we don't want to be seen as weak. Like, hey, I really need to get healthier. Would you want to meet up after we put the kids to bed around 7:30 at night and take a couple laps around the neighborhood? Would you be willing to do that? It would help me be accountable, because what happens is you start the one habit. So going back to like, okay, I went to the gym 3 times. Well, go to the gym 3 times for 6 months, and I promise you, the weight loss, it may or may not happen the way you think it is, but so much more is going to change.
Yeah.
Your mental fitness changes, your clarity, your focus. So, taking away the dopamine, like the excess dopamine things, and also like for those of you that are kind of nerdy like me and Haylee, go look up the other ones. We forget about serotonin and melatonin and what are some of the other ones? Like, oxytocin. Like, those are like your feel good adrenaline, or not adrenaline, endorphins.
Endorphins, adrenaline too.
Yeah, but it's like those also like will help your body and your mind feel better. So 20 minutes of movement, consistent movement. I'm talking walking, biking, yoga, whatever. Like just consistent movement with your heart rate elevated a little bit. 20 minutes is all it takes to release the chemicals in your brain that make you the most creative. Like my biggest ideas and my most even my most candid conversations with God always happen on my runs. Always. Or walks in the neighborhood. Because it's almost like my brain can just let go of all the other stuff. Yeah. Or gives it time to put the puzzle pieces together. And then it's like, all right, that's done. I'm not to think about that anymore. And so I think just setting micro goals. So if it's a daily goal, my daily goal is to hit 50 ounces of water. If you're only drinking 20 ounces of water, please drink more water. But if you double that to 40, that's better than nothing. And I think that we have so much shame around this that we won't invite people in to, speak into it or to join us on our journey. Or I think also hiring people if you need to. I don't know how to play the piano. And if I were going to learn to play the piano, I would probably say, hey, can you give me some lessons? I'll pay you to do lessons. You're a worthy investment. It's not a consumer thing. It's not like you're going to buy a candle that's going to burn and go away. You're investing in you, and the return on that investment in years to come, and dare I say generations to come, is so worth it. But start small. There's no shame in starting small. And I know it's cliche, but get clear, get honest, get clear, get accountable. Start small. So daily goals, 5-minute daily goals. What can I do for 5 minutes this week? Because here's the deal. Think back to 6 months ago. It feels like yesterday. Yeah. It goes so fast. So time moves so fast, but it seems like when we have a goal, we're scared to even be in 6 months, I hope to be. So modifying our behaviors, microdoses is what I recommend.
Yeah, no, that's great and super helpful because we are so used, the habits that we have created around our society and culture are so used to that instant, that dopamine hit. And so the habits that we've created for our brains are they're so large, but they're so minuscule at the same time. They're short. And
We're not there yet. We're not there yet.
Exactly. So they're constantly having to create something new. And I think when we start small and then look at the long term, we're training our brain to have less of that dopamine hit, like you said. And we're focusing on allowing our brain to process things because those short little hits, it's like we've made our attention span like a goldfish. Those short little hits just keep lighting up our brains, and our brains are having a hard time processing. Right. That's why I think our habits, and especially our numbing habits, like you were saying before, our habits are so numbing is because we haven't allowed our brains to process things and
that's
so
what brains
long.
do.
Yes.
Your brain is constantly trying to work for you and figure things out. And it also wants to automate everything. Right. Which is great if you're trying to get healthy and you're building healthier habits. It's not great if you're used to picking up your phone every time you go to the bathroom or every time because those are habits too. Exactly. And it's it just takes, but I think just getting rid of the shame, just getting, acknowledge that it's there, acknowledge, hey, I'm ashamed of, the ways that I haven't done these things. Acknowledge that. And even, invite God into it. Yeah. Invite God into your habits. Course, the Bible, again, speaks so many times, the passage in I think it's in a couple of the Gospels where it says, love the Lord with all your mind, body, and heart. And it's and love others as you love yourself. And there's actually this command to love ourselves, but not in the, self-care, not in the
kind of selfish,
spoil myself.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it's in I recognize that the creator of the universe created me to do these things or to share his love or to do whatever. If you truly believe that, and that kind of goes back to your belief system when you know who you are, you know what to do. If you truly believe that you were handcrafted by the creator of the universe to do all these beautiful things and to live, abundantly, and to walk out all of these things and purpose and fulfillment and all of that, then why wouldn't we nurture that?
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't we make sure that that is getting taken care of? I think just pulling down the lies that taking care of you is selfish. And I would say so many times I feel like we often, also I'll just say for myself, and maybe it'll step on some toes. So many times I have used that excuse because I was really just lazy.
Sure.
Or I was really just apathetic.
Yeah.
I was really just depressed and I needed more than what I was getting, whatever. And so it's like, I think so many times I have been like, well, it's selfish. Well, no, I'm really just being lazy.
Yeah.
Like, what's selfish is not doing that.
Right.
And,
No, and I think you bring up a good point too, like on that, because of course we need to take care of ourselves. We're talking about these habits to take care of ourselves so that we can be used and do what we're created to do. And I think that you talked about it just a second ago. There's a difference between self-care and being selfish. And I think today a lot of people do lean more towards the selfish end, and they're not creating healthy habits.
And I would say, to mask what we're really feeling. Like
exactly.
You said, the unprocessed thoughts, the unprocessed wounds, the unprocessed trauma. I think that so many times it's also just, we're slathering that on because it feels good. There's your dopamine again. Yeah. But it's not doing good. And so I don't know. There's something that, it's so empowering. And I love the scripture in Ephesians when it says, essentially, like, it's Ephesians 3:16-19, it essentially says, like, you have everything inside of you to do the things I've called you to do. It's literally inside of you. Yeah. But, like, we have to activate it, and we have to step into that, but that causes action on our part, and that's the part where we get hung up, because sometimes we have to take action and we don't see the result right away.
Yes. And sometimes you never see the result, and you have to trust. You have to trust that, okay, I took the action, and because God told me to take the action, even if I don't see the result, there is a result.
And again, I think that's why we have to find our healthy habits and our heart for our, our faith, our spirituality. Right. I want to share this. Like, my pastor a long time ago, he wanted to help people just engage, kind of building the habit around spending time with God. So he did this challenge. It was 15 minutes a day. It was 5 minutes of worship, just listening to worship music, 5 minutes of scripture. Like, I think he had sent out like a reading plan to read that was about 5 minutes, and then 5 minutes of prayer every day for 15 minutes. And so for someone looking to get, just overall healthier, so you've done your evaluation, you've figured out who's gonna keep you accountable, you've gone through, the 3 things that we talked about, you got really clear about what you need, kind of broke it down. I would challenge you, if you're just like, I don't even know where to start. Like, 1, don't wait for Monday. I don't know what day. Does this come out on Monday?
It comes on Monday. Yeah.
Okay. So on today, right now, I'm a right now girl. Like, I never start on Monday. Like, we just start when it's time to start. I'm an activator. But I would say maybe take that same principle. So if you're just like, okay, I know I just kind of need to feel better. Maybe just for this week. So Monday through Friday or Monday through Saturday, whatever. Do something for yourself physically for 5 minutes. Even if, especially if you're not active already, go for a walk, do some stretches, do a little flow, whatever. Do something for your body physically for 5 minutes. Or maybe it looks like prepping your meals. I don't know. Like, or making a smoothie instead of eating breakfast out at McDonald's or whatever. So something for your physical health, something for your mind, and that might just look like sitting and breathing for 5 minutes. There's so much power in our own breath. And I love, I could so get stuck on the breath. Like, the word breath, wind, and Holy Spirit is all translated the same in the Bible. Oh, wow. The word ruach. And just sitting and breathing sometimes would be so wonderful for our minds for 5 minutes. And then, of course, you have something, spending time with God. So that can be prayer, worship. I mean, one worship song, even just that would start to, because I'm a huge believer of movement breeds movement. Yeah. Like, if you don't take the first step, you're not going to take the next step. Yeah. So you've got to take the first step first. So just do that. And then for 7 days, And then maybe your listeners can message you and be like, I did my 7 days.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
like,
fantastic.
I mean, we're talking like 5 minutes a day. And just, I prefer to do things first thing in the morning because I'm less distractible.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working on destroying distractions right now.
Yeah,
But,
for sure.
Like, it's like something I'm actively working on. But I tend, like, most people don't need me at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
Like, let's not make it over complicated, because really what we need to do is pretty simple.
Yeah, exactly.
And most of the time we know what we need to do. We just got to do it.
We just got to take that step.
Do it.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a great place to start for someone who's like, I just feel all of it. Like, I scored zeros in everything. You know, it's like, okay, well, start there.
Yeah.
5 minutes of movement, 5 minutes of prayer, 5 minutes of just stillness and breath work. You know, if you guys need a simple breathing exercise, breathe in for 4, out for 8, because your long exhales actually tap into your parasympathetic system, which takes you out of your fight or flight.
There you go.
I can get so nerdy.
Yes, no, that's
so nerdy. But
that's great. That's great advice too. And you can do that 5-5-5, and also stack that on something you've already done.
Yeah.
But okay. So, what would be your advice to somebody who is trying to either break a bad habit or form a new habit, something healthy, and they are having that hard time fighting that desire for instant gratification? What would be your advice to somebody like feeling like they're losing steam on their habits?
I would say reevaluate your systems. So if you feel like I'm going to walk 3 miles every day and you're running out of steam, walk a mile. Like, just go walk a mile. I would say boss yourself around a little bit. I know that sounds kind of harsh. And then I think my third thing is, like, seriously be reminded of who you are. Like, go to that one first and write. I have anybody I work with, I make them write stuff down. Because anything that anything that follows the words I am that comes out of your mouth, your mind subconsciously believes. I guess my advice would be, like, just do it, even if you have to reevaluate. Don't be scared to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
Like, we're so afraid of failure. And it's like,
Right.
You know what's failing? Not doing anything.
Exactly. And, you know, every time you go back to the drawing board, it's still another step in the right direction.
Absolutely.
So it's not failure, it's just trying again.
But we're going in the same direction.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going northwest
instead of straight
instead of north.
Yeah. No, but that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, is there anything else you'd like to add to this conversation?
Let me check my notes. So I think I would just add and encourage everyone to just be reminded, like, if you still have a pulse, you still have a purpose. Like,
oh, that's so good.
You still have a pulse, you still have a purpose. And so many times we just give up on ourselves. We give up on God ever being able to use us or our stories to bring light into the world. And I think I would just encourage each person hearing this that, like, you're still here. Like, God still has something in store for you, and He's not gonna just heal your habits for you. Like,
right.
Because you're fully capable of doing that. And so there's so much power that comes with that. Like, yes, God will walk that journey with you, and He will give you the strength, and He will give you all the things you need. But, like, ultimately, like, just be reminded that, like, you have what it takes.
Right.
Like, you have what it takes. And I think some people just need to hear that. And I know you know that from working, like, with your students and stuff. Like, you can see it and you can hear it. And it's like, I know it's in there that they just need.
Yes.
And it's like, trust God for that. Trust God for that encouragement. And then also make sure you're surrounded. Layer yourself with people who can encourage you and push you. It may not be the same person.
Right.
Like, my encouraging friends are not my very pushy friends. Like,
right.
I have both. And my pushy friends are not very encouraging. So I have learned I need both in my life. And so if I need to be pushed, I know who to call. Like, I could pick up the phone right now and call him, and he would be like, and when's it going to be done by? Like, there's nothing. Right. And if I needed someone to comfort me, I would know exactly. She would pick up right now. Like, I have those people, but know that you also have what it takes.
Yeah.
You know?
No, that's super good. That's great. Okay, my question for you, because the podcast is called Rise and Shine.
I have, like, the song, Rise and Shine.
And give God the glory. Yeah. Like, every time I think about that, I totally sing it in my head every time I say it.
I'm like, you were not a kid of, like, the 80s or 90s if your mom didn't wake you up like that.
Exactly,
okay?
yes. Okay, so my question for you is, what does rising and shining look like for you?
Oh,
and
this
you can
is so good.
answer that however you deem appropriate. Yeah.
I love it. So when I first heard your very first podcast, I loved it. I love the scripture from Isaiah. That's one of Isaiah 60 and 61 are just kind of those anchor, like, where God really got a hold of me and kind of reshaped my perception of him and my practice of faith. You know, because growing up in the church, like, you kind of just adopt whatever you know until you become an adult. And I think this is where a lot of people lose their faith. You know, it's like, because I don't feel like I have permission to wrestle with how I'm going to show up in the world as an adult who's a Jesus follower.
Right.
You know, and what does that look like? You know, my relationship with God. And so those were some really big, like, so when you read those, it just brought me back to when God really got a hold of my heart and was like, okay, you're a big girl now. Let's do this. And so, actually, I think it was last year, my word for the year, maybe it was the year before, my word for the year was rise. And when I think of rise, the immediate, I think it's 61, Isaiah 61, where he talks about, you know, you will rise from the ashes. I think about, you know, here on earth, we are, like, Jesus even said, like, take heart. Like, okay, Jesus says take heart. You buckle up.
Right.
You are going to suffer. And so suffering to humanity is inevitable. Like, it's inevitable. But I think how we press through it is what demonstrates the faithfulness of God, the sovereignty of God, the love of God. And so when I think about rising out of the ashes, and I think of the ashes of just the world and its gunk and it's so gross right now. I think about what does it look like to come above that. And then the shine, I always tell my kids every day, well, I haven't done it lately, but like when they were little, they'd get out of the car and I'd be like, stay salty and shine bright.
Oh,
like,
that sounds just like that.
All the time. And I actually I don't have it on, my little bracelet. Anderson made me a bracelet that says stay salty. But I think about, you know, the scripture in Matthew, and it talks about being the light of the world. And I think that we have to be reminded that, like, our stories, people see themselves in it. And when we rise, I think it takes courage to stand up. I think it takes courage to stand up with the ashes still on you. I think it takes courage to stand up in the middle of grief, in the middle of your humanity, in the middle of depression, in the middle of loss. I think it takes courage to stand up and step and then say something. So it takes courage to rise. And I think that when you do, though, your light can be seen. And we have to remember, it's not our light. It's through our cracks and crevices that the world has put on us that his light shines through, but it's just an invitation for people to see him. But they're not going to see him if we just lay down and make a bed in the ashes. And so that's what I think of. I just had, I don't know, just like this vision of, like, just rising up, like, from just the weight of the world, but allowing God's strength to empower us and infuse us so that can shine out from us. So that's what I think.
No, that's so good. Thank you. Well, thank you so much for coming on and talking about habits.
So
yes.
Oh, we could be here for like hours.
Oh, we totally could.
Like, I could do it.
We totally could.
I could do it.
Where can people find you?
Yeah, so I am not one of those fancy people that has, like, my own website. So I'm on Facebook, Kristen Campbell. I'll probably be doing some yoga pose, or, like, I think I'm doing a plank or something.
She's the one with the purple hair.
I'm like, I always have purple hair, or sometimes it's pink. I don't know. And then on Instagram, it's just Kristen with 2 N's, .Campbell. And if you guys are interested in faith-based movement, yoga, fitness, you can find us on christiansdoyoga.com or on YouTube. So come pray and stretch your body with me.
So good. Awesome. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Cue music.
And that is our conversation on habits and healing with Kristen Campbell. If you enjoyed this episode, please give it a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and share with your friends. We have more guests coming up for you soon. And so if you liked this guest episode, if you liked the structure of this, then you're in luck. We've got more coming out super soon, and it's going to be so good. All right, guys, I hope that you have a wonderful week, and don't forget to let your light shine.